everyone, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Brandy, and in today's video we are going to be talking about what exactly breaks a fast. So whether you've been intermittent fasting for a while or you're new to intermittent fasting, it's kind of important to know what breaks a fast so you get the results you want. And whether the results you want are for weight loss, autophagy, gut healing, or just better overall health. Real quick, I just want to mention that I am not a doctor. I am just sharing what I have learned. It is always a good idea to check with your doctor before making any health changes. So fasting isn't just about losing weight. It can also be a great tool for helping your body heal and reset. But kind of knowing what's allowed and what isn't can be confusing because it can really depend on the reason why you are fasting. So we are going to go ahead and dive in and break it all down. So why is it important to know what breaks a fast? Well, that is because fasting isn't simply about not eating. It is about giving your body a break from digestion and insulin spikes so it can focus on other things like hormone regulation, fat burning, autophagy, and reducing inflammation in your body. So here's the catch. So breaking a fast kind of really depends on what your goals are. Are you fasting for weight loss, cellular repair? Are you trying to heal your gut? Do you want to improve your insulin sensitivity? Kind of depending on what your goals are is really going to kind of depend on what is and isn't allowed during a fast. So for example, if you are fasting for weight loss, then black coffee might be okay. But if you are fasting for gut healing, then you might want to skip the coffee. Now, knowing the difference is really going to help you avoid mistakes and get the most out of your fast. So first, we're going to talk about what definitely breaks a fast. These are all things you should definitely avoid during your fasting window. So pretty much any food or drink with calories in it. So this one's pretty straightforward. It's things like meals, snacks, juices, smoothies, any kind of caloric drinks. And the reason for this is because even a small amount of calories can cause like an insulin response and stop your body from burning fat. So sugars and sweeteners, and that's any kind of sugar, whether it's cane sugar, honey, maple syrup, agave nectar. These will all definitely spike your insulin and break your fast. And also be careful of, sweet drinks. Sometimes they really like to sneak in sugar and calories, and you might not think they're in there, but you should always be sure to read the labels. So a lot of people who are fasting still add like cream, butter, milk, or oil to their coffees. Like a lot of people like Bulletproof Coffee, which is either butter or MCT oil added to their coffee. Now these do have calories and fat in them. So if you're doing a very strict fast, these will definitely break a fast. Now alcohol is another one. It is full of sugar and calories, and it can definitely disrupt the benefits of a fast, so it's best to avoid alcohol. So flavored waters and diet sodas, they often contain artificial sweeteners or additives that can trigger an insulin response and affect your gut. So it is best to avoid these when fasting. Now there is some good news. There is some things out there that you can still enjoy that will not break your fast, especially if your goals are weight loss or improving insulin sensitivity. So of course, you can have water when you are fasting. This is actually very important to keep you hydrated, and it is also important to aid in kind of the detoxification process of fasting. So you can still enjoy your morning cup of coffee as long as it is plain black coffee with no added sugar or cream. Coffee has very few calories in it, so it's not going to spike your insulin. And it can also be helpful because it can help suppress appetite, it can give you more energy, and it can also help improve metabolism during a fast. And then there is also some evidence out there that it might even help support autophagy. You can also enjoy unsweetened teas like black tea, green tea, white tea, or herbal teas with no additives in it. They are a great way to stay hydrated, and they also provide antioxidants during a fast. You can also add electrolytes or mineral salts to your water. These can be very helpful during a fast, especially longer fasts, because it can help prevent things like headaches and fatigue. But just be sure that the electrolytes do not have any added sugar or carbohydrates in them. So for most people, all of these things are not going to interrupt the benefits of a fast, especially if your goals are weight loss or blood sugar control. Now we're going to get into some gray areas where there seem to be some very varying opinions, and it can also depend on what your personal goals are. So artificial sweeteners. Some experts, some fasting experts say that 0-calorie sweeteners do not break a fast. But there have been some studies that have actually shown that even though these sweeteners don't have any calories in them, and some people, it still spikes their insulin, and it can also affect their gut. So if you want to do a very strict fast, it is best to avoid artificial sweeteners. Now, bone broth. So bone broth does contain some calories, protein, and minerals. So technically it does break a fast, but some people will still use it, particularly if they're fasting for gut healing, because it can be very good and beneficial for the gut. So we already touched on Bulletproof Coffee and MCT oil. They do contain calories and some fat, but there are lots of people who like to use them to kind of extend their fast so they can go a little longer and deeper into their fasting window. But if you are fasting for gut health or autophagy, it is best to give your digestion and your system a complete rest and to avoid these things. Now, herbal teas can be kind of a tricky area because they can stimulate digestion, and some of them do have compounds in them that can affect the gut. So if you are just kind of doing like a general intermittent fasting, they are probably fine. But if you are doing it for things like gut healing, then it is probably to stick to water only fast or very plain teas. Now, a lot of people are wondering about gum. Is gum okay? Well, unfortunately, even sugar-free gum can kind of trigger an insulin response, and it also can stimulate saliva and digestion. So during a strict fast, again, it is probably best to avoid chewing gum. So again, it is important to know what your goals are with fasting. Again, if you are just looking to lose some weight or you want to control your blood sugar, then black tea, black coffee, and possibly even some sweeteners are okay, and they're not going to interrupt your fast. But if you want some of the deeper benefits of fasting, like gut healing and autophagy, then it is probably best to just do water-only fasts. So it is a good idea to just really think about what your priorities here are with fasting and what your goals are, because that can really kind of help you decide what is allowed and what is not allowed during your fasting window. So some practical tips that you can stick to make fasting easier and also to make sure that you get the results you want are, just make sure you drink plenty of water, stay hydrated so you don't feel tired or get a headache or feel lightheaded. If you like to enjoy your coffee in the morning, be sure to just drink plain black coffee with no cream or sugar or any kind of sweetener added to it. Avoid any flavored or sweetened drinks during your fasting window. Be sure to use unflavored electrolytes if you need them during your fast. You can add electrolytes to your water if you need them, especially during longer fasts. And also be sure to listen to your body. If at any point during your fast you feel kind of like jittery or anxious, maybe it would be best to skip the coffee or the tea, because it could be the caffeine that's making you jittery, and it might not have anything to do with skipping meals. And remember, fasting is flexible. It is better to pick a fast that you can do consistently and that you'll stick with. If it's overly strict or too restrictive, you may quit, give up, and not do it at all. And remember that fasting is a very powerful tool, but it is also very personal. What works for one person may not work for you. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos about fasting, health, and wellness. Please drop any questions you might have or any experiences you've had with fasting in the comments. I really love hearing from you and about your experiences with health and fitness and fasting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video about what breaks a fast helps you feel more confident about your fasting journey.